So yeah, like I said, my name is Mariela Perez, and I am the curator and program manager with MACLA. And I'm really excited for this fellowship to share this fellowship opportunity with y'all. This is something that came out of obviously like COVID and the fact that we've been sheltering in place for the last almost a year at this point, and wanting to provide more opportunities to our local artists outside of what we were doing. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but earlier in quarantine, I would say we were doing a series called Stories from La Sala, in which we were showcasing artists that were producing work out of their living room. And that was really cool. But this is, I think, with this fellowship, we want to, number one, create more community within our artists and have the ability for folks to either collaborate or just be in communication or be in conversation with one another. And also just offer our platform, I think, in a more organized and succinct way. And also share whatever awesome work, or not whatever, but all the awesome work that you guys are creating, and that you, especially like active working artists that are creating. So yes, like I said, this is a lot of this information is on our website. So if you miss anything, this is also being recorded right now. So if you do miss anything, feel free to just take a look at it and what was I gonna say? To just rewatch this webinar. But yeah, this opportunity is open to. We'll be selecting a total of 10 Bay Area artists, Latinx artists, who are currently producing work specifically that touch on environmental, racial, and social justice. And it's going to be a 6-month fellowship. So, once we get applications in, the applications close March 1st. And so once that closes up, we will be starting it's going to be pretty much, we'll be hitting what do they say? We'll be hitting the ground running. And so as of March, I'm assuming it'll be starting somewhere, like the first meeting will be somewhere like mid-March. And then from there on, we'll just be moving forward into August. We are opening this opportunity for artists of all mediums. So it's not just, performing artists specifically, or not just visual artists. I mean, there's a lot of mediums within those two realms already, but, it is something that we want to highlight the amazing work that folks are doing, whether it's with technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, computer animation, gaming, as you can see, interactive installations. We're really interested in and the reason I'm saying that is because specifically three of these slots will be allocated for artists working with technology. And so within those 6 months, it's not included here, but within that 6-month fellowship, each artist will receive a accumulated amount of $10,000, not all at once, but it'll be distributed within the 6 months of the fellowship. And then through the application process, artists can also be considered for a one-time $500 award. And so I'm calling them like mini grants, but essentially, if you've worked with us in the past as performing artists, or, sometimes we book folks to run like workshops or things like that. It's a similar thing in terms of you'll be doing a one-time activity to engage our community, and we will be awarding $500 rewards for that as well. Excuse me. If you go through the application process, you have the ability to select whether you're interested in applying to just the fellowship, or just the $500 reward, or if you want to apply for both, there's also the opportunity for that. Any questions so far? Let me see. Okay, keep it going. So yeah, we're interested in, like I said, in supporting the new work created by Bay Area artists. If an artist is selected, these are more so like program details. Like if a person is selected, essentially the requirements are for folks to participate in a monthly cohort conversation that'll be led by me and be in community with other artists. This is really an opportunity for folks that are interested in working in community. If you're just interested in, showing your work, but not really like interacting with folks, or not, being a part of conversations, then that's not really what we're asking for. That's as a requirement, we are asking for folks to participate in a monthly cohort conversation. And these conversations, initially we were thinking of doing, like, I was going to come up with like a list of topics that I think would be useful, but we really want to, you know, hear the selected artists out, and whatever topics that you feel would be most beneficial for you is what we're going to be shaping those conversations to be, whether it's, you know, we want more resources for this, or, you know, conversation specifically on one topic, whatever that is what those conversations will be shaped towards. And then additionally, this is why, you know, I think community engagement, well, not, I don't think, but like community engagement is a really big thing within the fellowship and also with the work that MAPLA does. And so we ask that the work that is being presented, or that, you know, you will be presenting as artists, will also be engaging community. So aside from the conversations that you'll be having within the cohort, you know, we also, for the 10 selected artists, we will also ask for them to conduct some kind of community engagement activity, whether, and this can be anything from like, you know, doing like an artist like studio visit, or, you know, showing us what your studio looks like, doing an artist talk with another artist in conversation, you know. It could be, you know, doing a workshop for the community via Zoom, via Twitch. Um, you could potentially use, you know, our gallery space um, to install work. We also have a stage that's available for folks. You could also, you know, use the outside of the Parque de Pobladores that we have right outside of Macla, the little plaza area. And even like projecting like things off of like Macla's like actual building. I don't know if you all saw, there was an artist that, this was like around Christmas time, that was projecting images off of the cathedral downtown, or the church downtown. So that's what I'm saying, like, it's pretty much like we are offering our space for you as artists to engage use it and engage with it, and share back to the community. And so I personally, I think it's a really cool opportunity for folks to show, you know, what new work you've been working on, and also to have conversations around, because I know right now it's like, as an artist, it is hard to just, you know, it's not the same environment that we had before. So we definitely are, um, it's not the same ecosystem. So we want to be supportive, obviously financially, but also, you know, by offering our space for you to showcase your work, and you know, elevate your work a little bit more. Let me see, I saw the chat. Let me see. Oh, someone said this is awesome. Thank you. Eligibility. So eligibility, this is aimed towards Latinx folks who are working at the intersection of environmental, racial, and social justice. So, and that's just being intentional with the work that is being created. You know, if you want to like specifically, I don't know, show images of, you know, like for example, like I'm really good at drawing dog portraits. This is something like I probably wouldn't be able to apply, because, you know, what is the intersection of that, you know? We want obviously like some kind of connection to our community, to the things happening around us. I think especially now, you know, not that any of this is new, but we want to be intentional with the work that we're supporting and that we're elevating within our platform. We'll also be prioritizing Afro-Latinos and also LGBTQI plus artists. So and that's within the application too. So if you identify as either, you know, just make a note of it. There's ability for that to be said. And then we're also prioritizing artists that are local to Santa Clara County, although we are also accepting applications from other Bay Area counties. So we're not like specifically limiting to folks just in San Jose, but there is prioritization to that. And that's most of that is just kind of like, it's based on how the money came to us, or, you know, the funding behind this fellowship itself. And then, like I said, artists of all mediums are encouraged to apply. And then if you go to the application, we ask for you to either provide a link of your social media, your website, and then I also added on here Google Drive link, because I know some people are not on social media like that and they might not have a website. If you do include a Google Drive link, I ask that you limit the images that you have to 10. And so just if you're able to keep it at a limit to 10 images, that would be great. I don't want to see, or it's not just going to be me rating it, but, we don't want to see like 30, 40, 50 images of work. Just select, your best 10 pieces of work that you think you would, or that you would like for us to consider, or for us to, get a better understanding of the type of work that you do produce. Let's see. And then, like I said, this is the timeline. And if I'm going too fast, or if you missed anything, if I'm going too fast, feel free to ask me to slow down, or to elaborate on anything. But and like I said, all of this information is on our website already. This is the timeline itself. So we opened up the applications this past Friday. We had an e-news that went out to folks that are subscribed to our newsletter. And then today we're doing the informational webinar. The application deadline is March 1st. And then within the week, we'll be announcing the fellows. And like I said, I'm aiming for mid-March to be the first online gathering of all of the fellows. Excuse me. And then, like I said, it's going to be going through August 21st, or not 21st, 2021. Any questions so far? Oh, can you explain what you mean by all mediums? For example, as a content creator, digital influencer. So this is a question that I saw someone post on one of my colleagues' Facebooks, and that was a really interesting question. I think when we mean art mediums, as long as you're creating work that is, kind of going back to the eligibility, as long as you're creating work that, that is considered artwork at the intersection of environmental, racial, or social justice, I would say yes. Because when I hear the word influencer, like, it makes me think of like folks that are like, elevating, or like being like, hey, you should buy this, or you should do this. And so my thing is, like, as long as you are the creator of whatever it is that you're trying to, not whatever it is, but as long as you are creating work itself. And so that can be, whether you're painting, if you're making like digital work, because a lot of, obviously, like, as digital content creators, you're creating digital work that counts as art, in my opinion. Especially, we're looking for art technology too. So I hope that answered it. I don't know if that was a little weird. Is the deadline 12 p.m. in the afternoon? There's midnight. I'm gonna say midnight. Let's do midnight, unless it's on. Did we put 12? Actually, no. I think actually you're right. We put 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Is the entire program going to be virtual? No. Once we are allowed to be, outside, obviously, and like congregate as like with one another, we are open to having folks gather as things are allowed to be, once we are not in purple tier anymore. And especially because, we want folks to like potentially be able to use our stage. This is obviously with safety, like, being the number one, because most likely I will be there too, making sure things are good. And me personally, I'm hella paranoid about COVID, so I'm not trying to gather if it's not safe. But at the same time, like, we do want to make use of the space, and we are hoping that, especially now that cases are going down, that it'll be safe for us to gather. You mentioned approximately 10 images. For creative writers applying, how many pages should we limit our samples to? That's a good question. If you have like a script, or, like, it's going to be a panel of 4 judges, I would say, 10 pages tops. Because, as much as we would love to read your novel or anything like that, we want to, I think the idea is for the judges themselves to get a grasp of the kind of work that you create. Is this only for individuals, or can a duo apply? That's a good question. If it is a duo, that those $10,000 would be split between you two. So technically, like, so, but we are thinking more so individual, although if you do apply as a duo under like a specific name, then that's, I'm assuming that that's something that could happen, although we are thinking individuals. Yeah, a little taste, not the whole meal, exactly. Any other questions? I'm doing an art residency later this year. I would love to show Makla when I'm creating while I'm there, but also have participants that will inform the pieces I'm making. Will that be something that piques Makla's interest? Participants that will inform pieces. Yeah, I mean, if the work that you're creating speaks to the topics that we're interested in showcasing, and like I said, a lot of it is, speaking towards, environmental, racial, and social justice, or just work that, because okay, like if you think about like the word, like Macla, the first M in Macla stands for movimiento, so which means movement in Spanish. So if it is work that, is elevating like a lot of the movements that we're trying to push forward to a more just world right now, then I would say yes. For performance art, should we include video samples? Yeah, if you're a performing artist, like if you do music, I would include, sound clips if you have like video recordings of it. If you have yourself, being recorded performing, then that would be great too, because it would give us an idea. Although, like I said, if you do have a social media where you are posting those, that's totally fine. Like that's something that we can go through your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitch, whatever it is you're using your platform. If we do meet in person, will there be studio space? There's no studio space. We do have a gallery that you will be able to install in, yes. And what we've been doing, like what we did with this most recent exhibition, is we installed within our gallery, and then we were able to map our gallery so that folks were still able to experience the gallery installation, even though it was virtual. So that's something that I imagine is going to be happening at least within the next like few months. Let's see, I'm doing work that impacts folks from Santa Clara County and simultaneously supports folks in California Central Valley. Will this be an issue for funders, knowing this work affects folks here? No, I mean, as long as, I think, we mostly want to support artists that live within Santa Clara County and the Bay Area. So as long as you live within the counties that are listed, it should be fine. Can you elaborate on the once a month engaging with community with your art? What would that look like? Yeah, so that's kind of, like I said, that could be anything. That could be you doing an artist talk on Instagram Live or on Twitch or on, Zoom or Facebook Live, and sharing with like with our audience, your current process, whether it's, I'm working on this script or this video or this project, and this is what I have so far. This is the skeleton I have for it. This is where I'm hoping to take it. So it could be that. It could be you showcase, just sharing. Like I know it was like earlier during the summer, I think we had an artist, Filthy Drones, that did, he did an Ableton workshop where he just recorded his screen as he was, creating a beat. So that's another thing you could potentially do. So whether it's, workshops for that folks can like follow as they're watching, whether it's, someone like painting or, sharing your process, things like that. Does that make sense? Let me see, any other questions? These are all really good questions. I'm glad of that. How does the funding work again? So a lot of the funding we have, Makla is a nonprofit, and then we also get funding through our donors. So some of this funding was pulled from funding that would have gone towards towards our, every year we essentially have 4 exhibitions within our gallery. So some of that funding is pulled from that. Some of the funding is pulled from our performing arts funding. And then we also have specifically 3 fellows that will be funded through the Knight Foundation, who are the technology fellows. And yeah, that's kind of, but at this, I mean, either way, like if you're selected for the $10,000 one, you'll be getting a monthly check of whatever 10,000 divided by 6 is. Is the grant subjected to tax? Yes, most likely, yeah. I think if you get anything over a $600 check, it's tax money. How current should the work be within the past year or 5 years? Yeah, I would say within the past year or two tops. But like I said, we're also interested in funding new work. And so we're hoping that with this money, that this money goes towards working artists that are creating. And so while we want to see, work, obviously, yeah, I'm assuming this question is in reference to the work that you'll be sharing within your application. So I take it back. But yeah, we're hoping that, if you are selected, can murals also be considered? Yes. And the application itself, if you've looked at it, it's super short. And so I encourage you to elaborate on the questions, because if you look at it, it's a lot of it, you could easily like run through and be like, okay, I'm done. I submitted my thing. But I really encourage folks to be thoughtful with the answers that you write down, because you got to understand, like, even though I might personally know a lot of y'all, I'm not going to be the only one selecting artists. It's going to be a panel. And so while I want, all of you to be selected at the end of the day, is, I also want for your work to obviously speak for itself, but also for, if you have any like artist statements or giving folks a better idea as to, what are the themes behind your work? What are the reasons for creating such work? Where do you hope to take your work next? Those are things that I think are really helpful, especially when getting a better understanding for people's artwork. Any size requirement for pieces or work being installed? For work being installed, if you're installing within our gallery, I would say no. I mean, if you've been into our gallery, it's not, we don't have like a 2-story gallery, but it's at the same time, like there is a decent amount of work, or not work, of space. I believe like 2 of the walls are like 19 feet long, and then they go up about like, I want to say like 17 feet. Will we need to submit a proposal for engagement and budget? Engagement and budget? No, because essentially, what the funding that will be provided to you is going to be encapsulating any potential, supplies you might need, any potential, and then we do, if you are going to be installing within our gallery, we do have tools and supplies that you can use to install. So you wouldn't need to buy any of that. Thank you. Any other questions? And if you're too shy to ask, or if you can't think of anything right now, there's my email. It's also on our website, and it's also, I believe, on the flyers that's going around. I'm pretty nice and open to answering questions. I'm actually really nice. So just, yeah, feel free to ask questions later if that would help. But yeah, you don't need to submit a budget or anything like that. Thank you. And like I said, this was mostly just me going over all of this information. Like I said, is in our website. It was mostly just kind of going over it quickly. I mostly wanted to offer up a space for questions. Does digital work include video work? Yeah, I would say so. Because I mean, technically, yeah, you're using a digital camera or you're producing a digital work. Can we apply as mixed media artists, or do we have to pick one media? You can apply as mixed media. I believe let me see if I can I'm gonna close this one and then I can go through show you guys what the application looks like. So this is what the application looks like. Like I said, it's super short. His name, email, cell phone, street address, city of residence, zip code, how you identify, check all that applies. If others, please specify. Are you a digital artist? And then you're able to select all of the mediums that apply to you. So yeah, I don't feel like you need to like, I'm just visual artist, I'm just this, that. And then if digital, please specify. So that's if you wanna give us a little bit more context. Do you consider yourself, and then how you consider yourself early, mid, and established? We are looking to get a pretty like varied pool of artists. So, if you're early in your career, don't be discouraged for applying. We are hoping to have folks that are early in their career, mid-career artists, and also established artists be all in conversation with one another. And then, like I said, there's a choice to be considered for just the Cultura Power Fellowship, the one-time mini grant, or both. And then I ask you questions. Why would you like to be considered? Why now? What are your preliminary ideas of what you would like to share during the fellowship? And this is where like this is that part where I mentioned like to be as detailed as you can, or just like I said, folks that might not be familiar with your work might be reading this and might be a part of the judging panel. So I really encourage you to give us insight as to why you create what you're creating. Let's see. Someone asked, is the work we submit expected to be displayed or shown in addition to the work we create throughout the fellowship? No. So I envision that once the fellows are selected, you see, I'm trying to get back to the Q&A. We'll have some kind of sign up. We'll have a calendar for folks to sign up for whatever time and date they would like to display their work. And so within that, I envision you having a conversation with me first, or us checking in, like, and you sharing like, this is what I'm trying to do for next month's community engagement activity. So how many artists have applied so far? I believe like there was like 5, I think, last time I checked. What time frame schedules will this fellowship take place? So it's gonna run from March through August. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Yeah, my email, like I said. Yes, please apply, and also please share it to your networks. Like I said, this is the first year we're doing this, and we're hoping that it's super successful and that we're able to continue doing fellowships like this, because I feel like it's really important, especially now, to keep our artist ecosystem going. And so definitely share it with other folks. Okay, I think I'm gonna, oh yeah, no worries. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My email is here. This is also being recorded, so we'll be posting this on our website within the next day or two. So definitely keep an eye out. What's up? Okay. Alright, pues nos vemos. We'll see y'all later. And if you have any questions in your application, or if you applied already and want to edit, just email me, and then we can sort that out. All right, I'm gonna end the share. All right, y'all, have a good rest of your night. Thank you.